of our dear friends on the other side. These were the ones who said, if we don't put on a carbon tax, we'll burn our planet.
The honourable member for Tobeek-Mactaquac.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honour to rise once again in the People's House. I always count it a privilege, and it's the first time to be able to address this House as far as a speech goes. Since being re-elected for the great people of Tobeek-Mactaquac, and I want to once again express my appreciation and heartfelt thanks to them and to my family for all the love and support and care. It's truly the honor of my life to serve here in the People's House, so I do want to thank them. It is a privilege to rise on this opposition motion, our motion to obviously hold the government to account, which is our responsibility as His Majesty's loyal opposition, is to hold the government to account and put forward alternatives that would serve the people of Canada. And it is only responsible for any government, and let alone a government, any family, any business, to bring forth a budget and to plan. You know, make sure that at the end of the day, where at all possible, you balance your budget and you make sure that you've got enough there to pay the bills and meet your obligations, and hopefully, if you're fortunate enough, to have a little bit to set aside for the future. What's true for a household and what's true for a business should also be true for any government, especially the government of Canada. But right now, we are going into one of the longest periods in our history without having a budget tabled. I think Canadians from coast to coast are wondering, when will that budget get tabled? And it's wonderful to have great ideas and to have wonderful plans and to talk a great game, but can you back it up with the dollars and cents and the budgetary means to make it happen and it be responsible? So I think Canadians are looking to us to provide reasonable alternatives and to make sure we hold the government to account in regards to this. I have a few remarks today in regards to this that I guess the way to sum it up, pardon the expression, is from my background, I like the use of alliterations, so I've got 4 C's and I'm going to try and cover them real quickly in the short time that we have. 4 C's to seeing our way clear. So what's the first C that we need to address here today? That's the challenges that we face. And wow, when you start thinking about the challenges that we face as a nation, none of us should be ignorant of that. We have several. And one of the first and foremost challenges is the rising and soaring cost of living. We've heard a lot about how that our food inflation is the highest in the G7. But I don't have to look at an economics report to realize that. I just have to visit a local grocery store and talk to the seniors who are on fixed incomes trying to make ends meet. I just have to talk to the young families who are trying to make their mortgage payment, their vehicle payments, keep their kids in sports, maybe plan, hopefully, a little bit of a trip if they could at the end of the day, and also put food on the table. I just talked to them and I soon realized the challenges that we're facing as it relates to food inflation and soaring cost of groceries. The challenges we faced are not only just what's happening at home here in our country, but they're obviously feeling the effects of the global uncertainty that's happening right now. Wars, rumors of wars, conflicts, riots. They're seeing instability. They're seeing things that once seemed so certain not seem certain. And with that, there's rising anxiety and fear and despair. And we as elected representatives pick that up in our daily conversations, interactions with people. We hear it. And you can't help but be affected by it. And we're surrounded by those challenges, and yes, Canada's not immune to the external threats. But there's a lot of those that we don't have direct control over. We can't affect what's necessarily happening overseas on a grand scale. We have a limited amount of what we can say and do in regards to vast geopolitical challenges that are facing our world. But the greatest threat to us, far more than anything externally that may happen, or some strong southern wind that may blow in from time to time, is the threats that are within. We've gone through an era of Canadian self-sabotage. That, Mr. Speaker, is the biggest threat that this House has the responsibility to address. Yeah. It was no external force that brought a carbon tax on our people. It was no external government that shut down pipeline construction and passed Bill C-69 and Bill C-48. It was no external government that brought the highest levels of taxation in comparison to other advanced economies. It was our own government in our own country, and that's the biggest challenge we have to face, is to get our own house in order and have a massive course correction so that we can change the way in which we're going. If we deal with our problems within, we can face the challenges without with confidence. So though our challenges are many, and that's the first C, I've got to deal with the second C, and that is contradictions. Oh, my land, are we filled with contradictions when I consider the record of our dear friends on the other side. These were the ones who said, if we don't put on a carbon tax, we'll burn our planet. These are the ones who said, if we don't put the cost on carbon, we are going to absolutely destroy our environment in this country. But, thankfully, I'm glad they contradicted themselves most recently and adopt our policy of eliminating or reducing, thankfully, I think for now it's eliminated on the consumer at this point, the carbon tax, because they realized it's a punitive tax that accomplished nothing as it relates to the environment and only had a diminishing impact on our pocketbooks as Canadians. Thank you for recognizing that the carbon tax served no purpose but to punish our own citizens. But the contradictions continue while they reduced the rate of the carbon tax to zero in the result of election. They kept the carbon tax on and are going to put it on industry, thinking somehow that the industries are not going to transmit those costs back to the consumers who are ultimately Canadians. Talk about contradictions, it's really quite something. This is the same ones who were against pipeline construction, talked down our oil and gas sector for 10 years and said it was dirty oil and dirty gas. Now all of a sudden they're becoming champions for it. I'm thankful for the road to Damascus experience that my friends on the other side have had, and I hope it continues. But I can't help but be struck by the contradiction that Canadians must be scratching their heads saying, is this the same crew? They look the same, they sound the same somewhat, but they're talking a new talk. But I think if we're going to overcome and see our way clear, we've got to overcome the contradictions between what they have done in policy and what they're saying in rhetoric. Let's get the policy fixed so that we can get the country on the right course. And that's the third C. I got to get to my third and fourth C here. There we go. So those are the contradictions we got to overcome. But you know what that means? If we overcome the contradictions, we got to have a course correction. It's time to change course. It's time to stop putting one region against another region. It's time to stop pitting rural Canadians against urban Canadians. It's time to stop putting family against family and start to bring Canadians together to do something big for this country, which is, yes, build the infrastructure necessary to get our energy and our resources to world markets so we can lift our standard of living and tackle the food inflation crisis face on. It's time to get off the backs of our farmers and our producers and our workers and leave more of the money in their pockets they've worked hard to earn. It's time that we change course as a country and get in the right way, and by doing that, we'll start seeing our way clear. I challenge this House to consider a severe course correction from the error and the era of Canadian self-sabotage to the time and the season of great change that will bring prosperity, not just to a certain element of our society, to the elite, to the sophisticated, but to all Canadians, especially the working class. Those who put the boots on every day, those who carry their buckets to work, those who wait on our tables, those who've often been overlooked and forgotten. Let's change course and make sure their needs are addressed in this House. And Mr. Speaker, the last C I'm going to end on is this. There's a question that comes in the midst of a crisis. Oftentimes we look at who can save us, what can change it, what can help us. I think we have to ask ourselves the question, what's in our own house that needs to be addressed? And if we look at what's in our own house, we can find the answers to our problem. Stop blaming that which is without. Stop looking everywhere else to escape our own responsibility. Let's change course within and unleash the potential of Canada's resource sector, energy sector, and farming sector, and watch us overcome any challenge that we could ever face. It's time to get our own house in order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate your time today.